Okay, today I'm going to talk about the deconstruction of the word critical thinking. When I was looking at the word critical thinking, it's a strategy that we're using in my innovation, so I thought maybe it'd be best to break it down. From here I broke down just critical, and I broke down thinking. Let's proceed the way I thought, the way that I started, and I went with thinking first. This is the process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something. I was starting to notice in the reds a repetitive pattern. Let's see, process throughout this breakdown. So the two words I thought about looking at was consider and reason. When I looked at consider gave me think carefully about before making a decision. I looked at decision a little bit more careful. I wanted to find out what it meant, and I found out decision is a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. So I wanted to look at what conclusion was. And conclusion gave me a judgment or decision reached by reasoning. It's also the synonym for inference. The reason I make relation to inference, if you look here on the top, the six skills of critical thinking are analysis, interpretation, explanation, evaluation, inference, and self-regulation. The ones that have the check mark are the ones that were identified in my deconstruction, that were evident and obvious. Again, analysis, interpretation, inference. But I will be able to, you can find the others embedded if one looks deep enough to find the six elements, the six skills of critical thinking. So it also broke down was reason. From thinking, the two we went to consider, but the other one was reason. The power of the mind to think, understand, and form judgments by a process of logic. Two things that stuck out was in the red again, process is there and process has already been identified. The other one was I wanted to learn more about logic. Logic is the reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity. When I'm looking at validity, I learned that by definition is the quality of being logically or factually sound, soundness of cogniency. Cogniency here is the quality of bringing clear, logical, and convincing, or lucidity. So I wrote down lucidity a little bit, and it was a clarity of expression. Here I thought it could have been done, but I really wanted to know what it meant by expression. And the expression is the process, once again, of making known one's thoughts or feelings. So if I take it back to just the word thinking, and I use a deconstruction approach, I may be able to peel back the layers all the way to the process of making known one's thoughts or feelings, using a judgment or decision reached by reasoning through inference. That's just the word critical thinking. I'm going to take you now through a loop for critical. So critical here is expressing or involving an analysis of the merits and faults of a work of literature, music, or art. From there I went to analysis. In analysis, you can see in red, the word examination comes up a few times, and interpretation in purple because of one of the critical thinking skills. Analysis is the detailed examination of the elements or structure of something, typically as the basis for discussion or interpretation. I wanted to look more about examination and interpretation. So going further up, interpretation which is also one of the 6 skills, says the action of explaining the meaning of something. And in examination, I come here, which in red was again identifying that I had seen this word multiple times in this study. A detailed inspection or investigation. I wanted to look further about inspection. An inspection is careful examination or scrutiny. Again, then I went to scrutiny and I find critical observation or examination. Critical is the word that we started out with when we looked at critical thinking. So we see it here after several definitions. Observation is the next word that I wanted to break down. The action or process of observing something or someone carefully or in order to gain information. I broke down information, being that it's facts provided or learned about something or someone. To find out more about facts, facts is a thing that is indisputably the case. So looking at the big scale of pictures and understanding the deconstruction of the word critical thinking, I do see that there are several skills that were evident by the writings of the definitions of critical thinking, embedded throughout all these definitions. 1, analysis. 2, interpretation. 5, inference, were all identified. It does not lead to say that those other words are not transparent. In the writings, I think they could be more synonyms throughout. That would be evident of explanation and evaluation. Self-regulation, I think could even be tied as well with getting towards expression, the process of making known one's thoughts or feelings, however, but reflecting of that and carefully looking at the words that you do possess and that you would put out, maybe even to the universe. So another theory of deconstruction. I hope this was interesting. It was for me. It definitely gave me a great perspective. Thank you.